Joe Rogan defends his interviews with Dr. Robert Malone and Dr. Peter McCullough. Many of the thing. Joe Rogan is the world's most popular podcaster. He made name for himself interviewing major guests, including Tesla CEO Elon Musk. The Joe Rogan Experience podcast, which is hosted on the Spotify streaming service platform, reaches an estimated 11 million people per episode. On December 29, 2021, Twitter permanently suspended Dr. Malone for alleged misinformation after he said in a tweet that Pfizer mRNA vaccine does more harm than good. Rogan later made the headlines early this month after he invited mRNA inventor Dr. Robert Malone and cardiologist Dr. Peter McCullough onto his show to share their views about the vaccine. During the show, Dr. Malone presented Pfizer's vaccine trial data that shows an increased risk of illness and death for the vaccinated. That was what got Joe Rogan in trouble and led the so-called 27 science and health professionals to ask Spotify to end Rogan's show. However, Spotify said Joe's Rogan interview with mRNA inventor Dr. Robert Malone did not violate its policies. Now, Rogan has come out swinging to defend his interviews with Dr. Peter McCullough and Dr. Robert Malone. In a Twitter video posted this morning, Rogan said that there are a lot of people that have a distorted view of what he does, probably of sound bites and headlines from the mainstream media without really listening to what his guests said. Rogan added that these two people are accomplished in their respective fields, and they have opinions that are different from the mainstream narrative, and he invited them onto his show to hear what they have to say. Rogan later destroys the misinformation narrative. Rogan explained, "Many of the things we thought of as misinformation a short while ago are now accepted as fact. Like for instance, 8 months ago if you said, if you get vaccinated you can still get COVID and you can still spread COVID, you will be removed from social media. They would ban you from certain platforms. Now, that's accepted as fact." You can watch the rest of the video below. Joe Rogan shreds the misinformation narrative and defends his interviews with Dr. Peter McCullough and Dr. Robert Malone. Fire at Joe Rogan at P_McCulloughMD, pic.twitter.com/U8XXJZ5SQ. Chief Nerd January 31st. 222. Meanwhile, in late 22, Rogan signed a $1 million exclusive deal with Spotify, meaning that listeners could only tune into the podcast on the Spotify platform.